See that thick stack of CF Express cards? That right there is Matthew Lillard's photo shoot. It is the Game Makers commercial. It is Hell of a Boss, and it is a 1-year-old's birthday party shoot. All done, and now ready to clear. That feeling though is so freeing. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Wolfpack. Today we are doing a full studio refresh / cleaning again to get ready for another gameplay tomorrow. And I think that's what's cool too, is that as these daily vlogs are happening and everything, you get to see how long it takes for me to actually start filming. So tomorrow, I think everyone's consensus seems to be Castles of Burgundy, so we'll be doing that. A 2-player gameplay tomorrow. I'm about to get destroyed, and apparently that's what you all want, but if that's what the people want, then that's what the people are gonna get. So we're gonna get a absolute slaughterhouse of me on camera tomorrow, and I'm okay with that. Do it for you all. So I love doing all of like the physical stuff during the daytime, because at nighttime I kind of want to just sit at my desk and then edit. And I have 2 gameplays left to edit, which honestly is not too bad anymore. So I think we are in good shape for all the stuff coming in September and October, which is very exciting too. So the whole point of today's video is to ask you all this question, because I'm super curious to hear your thoughts on this, and I'm not even sure where I lay on this particular spectrum. If you had a choice, would you rather play ladder games more often or a heavier game once in a while? And the reason why I find that so interesting is because if you have a lot of ladder games, I think that the pros to this is that you get to experience a ton more mechanisms in a shorter burst window. You get to see what it's like to play some deck building and some trick taking and push your luck, and all of these mechanics you can expose yourself to. So I guess if you're trying to become a better gamer, or if you just like a huge buffet, then lighter games at a more frequent pace works out. And on top of that, there's way less commitment for lighter games. Plus, there's way less commitment for lighter games too. You can get back home from work or for whatever. As soon as you get home, you can just put a game out on table, set it up in a couple minutes, and then you're ready to go. Plus, if you have to learn a light game on spot, way easier, way more practical to do. And that's why I love lighter games for that reason. It's way more practical to get everyone sitting at the table to learn a 30-second, 1-minute game versus having them sit down and turn on their brain energy at the very end of the day and be like, all right, let's learn Lords of Hellas. Plus, they're usually a lot cheaper, they're easier to find, they have less commitment also in purchasing decisions, because it's way easier to say yes to a $15 card game versus a $100 heavy game. Ultimately, I think lighter games are just more palatable, they're easier to take in, and if you really want to see how it is to adapt to strategy and master games a lot faster, they're the way to go. This is still my favorite layout, so I love when everything kind of just falls back into place. But let's go ahead and talk about heavy games now. The thing with heavy games is that they have a much bigger impact overall. I think it just feels way more rewarding when you are able to sit down and commit and learn all those rules and then teach them and then play it the entire way through. There's no better feeling than at the end of the heavy game, everything just clicks in, the scoring is all played out, and everyone just feels so much more rewarded at the table. Now, of course, that's just me, because the issue is heavy games have a huge barrier to entry compared to lighter games. This is why it takes time to watch tutorials and learn the game, and then have people to come over and come play it and be committed down to learning it. So there's a whole 10-step process to get to that point. But I think the payoff is, it feels a lot more rewarding. But again, it's in a different way, because it's not that light games aren't rewarding. They both are in their own way. Light games are more rewarding because you can play them more often and you can play a lot of different types of light games. But then heavy games are rewarding in that you've invested commitment and brain energy to learning one big one. If I had a choice, and I'm honestly going off of a 45-55 split here, because they're pretty close. If I had to make one choice, you asked me, Tim, what would you choose? Heavy game once in a blue moon or ladder games more frequently, I kind of lean towards, unsurprisingly, the heavy games. I just love that feeling when my brain is soaked with thought-provoking questions. Oh, I should have done this move at this turn. What if my character ability allows me to generate more stuff during the end game? Oh, maybe I should have started with this ability in the very first turn and then switched it up and invested in resources by like halfway through. All of these fun questions stem from heavier games. And I think about it. And I think about it and I love discussing and thinking about heavier games more often. Plus, they have a different sense of replayability too when it comes to playing a ladder game and heavy game. For instance, if I'm playing an easy card game and we finish in about 15 minutes, afterwards I ask like, do you want to play again? They're like, yeah. But then like that yeah is different from a heavy game. A heavy game's like, oh yeah, let's run that back. It's totally different. I just think the impact of heavy games just hits differently when it comes to replayability. But overall, there's no wrong answer here. I honestly love both, and this is why my entire collection is filled with both. It just comes down to putting out a hard question out there if you had to make a choice. And there is no both. What would you choose? Me, it'd be heavy games. Just that much more. Heavy games once in a blue moon, just that much more than ladder games more frequently. And if you made it to the very end, go in and comment choice, because we gotta make a choice at the end of the day. You can't play both games at the same time. You gotta pick one, at least in a timely sequence. Thank you all so much for joining me as I get the studio fully ready for a playthrough tomorrow, and I will see you all in tomorrow's daily vlog.